All right, Night God fam. So this first video I'm going to show you guys is absolutely crazy. Check her story out.
I heard they talking about there's aliens in the ocean. It's time for me to tell y'all my story. Let me tell y'all my story. So back in 2014, I was living in Kumasi, Ghana, but we took trips to Cape Coast, Ghana. Well, this particular time, I was the only one who wanted to go to Cape Coast with the grown folks. It was my professor and her two friends who came to visit. Now, here's the thing. Because I was the only younger person who wanted to go, I hung out by myself a lot, right? I didn't want to hang out with the elders. I love the elders, but I didn't want to be with them all day. I wanted to mix and mingle with the locals. I met a local guy who tried to take me to meet a mermaid. Let's talk about it. Now, it's important to understand that I've always been a spiritual girly, so I've always attracted a lot of spiritual people. So it wasn't unusual when the Rasta came to me, right? He's Ghanaian. He's also a Rasta. Yes, Rastas exist everywhere. So he had his freeform locks and all of that, and he comes to me, he's talking to me about spirituality, and we get into a lot of deep conversations, and it was beautiful. Sat down, ate together, we sat on the beach together and just talked. And no, he wasn't trying to shoot his shot. No, he wasn't trying to shoot his shot. No, he wasn't trying to shoot his shot. It was genuine, deep conversation and no type of like inappropriate advances. Just real like brotherhood, sisterhood type of vibes. So y'all, as we get deeper into the conversation and we're talking about our various spiritual experiences and our spiritual gifts, he's telling me a lot about the different interactions he's had with spiritual energies in Cape Coast. And for those of you who do not know the history of Cape Coast, do your Googles, but Cape Coast is where the castles are, and the castles are essentially the point of no return, right? So do your Google, do your research and all of that stuff, but we're in that area, right by Elmina, and all of the energy is there. The energy of our ancestors who were enslaved, who were stolen from the land is there. So he's telling me about all his experiences with that energy. Then the water starts picking up, right? Because it's getting later in the day. So naturally the tide starts rising, the water starts picking up, and we start talking about the energy of water. And then he's telling me about his friendship with the mermaid. Yeah. There's like a bunch of like rocks leading deep into the ocean. So he says at night he walks out to the rocks, right? He walks the rocks deep out in the ocean, and he points to one that's like way out there, and he's like, I like to sit on that one. And he's telling me how there's this mermaid who comes up and they communicate, right? Energetically, they communicate. She's not speaking English like, what's up, bro? But he's like, there's a spiritual communication. And any of my spiritual people who have spiritual gifts, you know what this is. He's talking about the energy that she has and how she is and all of that stuff. And he's talking about how essentially like she's sweet, she's kind, but she talks about how there are other ones who are not so nice. And he explains the reason why, you know, some of them carry different energies and different intentions. He's talking to me about offerings that he brings her and gives her. He's telling me what she looks like and all of this. And let's be clear, it's not what you see in Disney movies and all of that. His description of her is nothing like that. It's very much like her energy is beautiful, but I don't want to say too much. I don't want to say too much. Just know her energy is beautiful, but she looks like a creature under the water. And the thing that he told me that made me not go back there with him is she was not born there. She became. She was an offering, and she became. Now, 1 + 1 = 2. And because 1 + 1 = 2, he asked me if I wanted to meet her. Now, at this point, this is 2024, this is 10 years ago. I was in my early 20s. I was a little nervous. I said, but meet her. What you mean meet her? Meet her how? How we gonna meet? You gonna FaceTime her? What you mean meet her? He said, meet me out here tonight and I'll take you out there. Tonight? The water is already rocking and rolling. Tonight? What you mean? You trying to offer me up. You trying to put me down there. I didn't go. He knocked on my door. It was probably like maybe 1 a.m., 2 a.m. I'm not going to sleep. I don't hear you. Sleep. I don't know nothing. I don't want to meet her. But now I kind of feel like I should have went and met her.
So I was going to try and tell that story, but there's nobody better than her to tell it. That's why I shared her video. But absolutely mind-blowing stuff, right? She doesn't end up going, which of course she regrets, but I can kind of understand where she's coming from with the whole offering thing. And that's the other point. Offering. She was a human, the mermaid, and was offered to the ocean, to other mermaids. I have no idea. But she changed from a human to a mermaid. And you could still feel that human energy off of her. Her spiritual energy. And she was beautiful. Absolutely crazy. I've never heard anything like that. And it blows my mind. Now, given that story, I'm going to tell you another story that I stumbled upon that also is about mermaids. And this one's absolutely mind-blowing as well. And it has roots in Africa. South Africa to be exact. Listen to this. Let me know what you think. The story I'm about to share with you is from a random TikToker. And it is absolutely mind-blowing. When I was 16 years old, I started dreaming about the ocean every single night. One day, I tell my mother about these dreams, and she starts crying. Mom then tells me that her side of the family has a secret that involves water, but she can't tell me just yet. A few months later, I get so sick, I can't even go to school anymore. And Mom says we have no choice and that we have to go home. I was confused because we were home. Mom then books us a flight and we take a trip across the country to a coastal city. I was still sick, so I was confused as to why we were taking a vacation. When we got there, she told me we would have to go to the beach during the full moon. I was getting kind of scared, but I kept telling myself she must just want to see the view. On the night of the full moon, we go to the beach, and Mom kneels down and starts chanting to the water. I start feeling dizzy, and a bright light comes out of the water and covers me and my mom. I have never been so scared in my life. The light starts dragging us into the ocean. I was so disoriented and I felt immense pressure in my ears, like they were being blocked. I tried to run away, but I couldn't physically move. Then, Mom starts speaking a language I don't understand. The light submerged us into the ocean and disappeared. Then, there was nothing but warm ocean water all around us. I started crying because I see these beings swimming towards us. They looked like very tall humans. They had their backs turned on us, and we could see them looking back at us over their shoulders. They were making a lot of noise, singing and crying. They swam around us, and some of them even touched my mom's feet. Then, they guided us to swim with them. Deeper and deeper. We kept swimming, and the water felt colder and colder as we got deeper. They took us to this place where there is no water, but it's inside the ocean. We moved through a tunnel-like hole, and on the other side of this hole was this dry place. There were a lot of caves made out of shiny rocks in this place. They took me and my mom to a big white cave. My mom tells me that it's time to introduce me to the elders. We go into the white cave, and Mom kneels down and tells me to kneel down as well. There were lots of old people in that cave, and the people did not look fully human. I am cold, wet, and surrounded by old people in a big cave under the ocean. In the middle of the cave, there is a lake, and there is a big light inside this lake. Mom tells me to go towards the lake. I felt dizzy, and I started speaking in a language I didn't understand. My body was moving on its own. It was like I was someone else. When I did that, the old people started chanting, and my mom did with them. The light inside the water made a lot of noise, and then went quiet. Mom came and bathed me in the water. The old people started feeding me something that tasted like mud. After they were done, they took me outside the cave, but Mom remained. My mom remained inside the cave for a while until she came out holding a small stone that the old people gave her. As we exited from that cave, I saw a lot of other sea people, especially young men and women. Before we left, one of them looked like a teenager. He came close to me as we were about to leave. He was the only one who changed himself to be my size. He knelt down in front of me and said hi. Then we swam back up out of the water in the way we came, and the white light took us back to the beach. By the time we came back up, it was at sunrise, but 4 days later. Next week, I'm supposed to go to school like nothing happened. And Mom continues to deliver messages from the ocean to the royal family of South Africa. So I hope you enjoyed those stories. I haven't talked about mermaids in forever. I just thought they were absolutely fascinating. It was an angle that I had never heard before about humans turning into mermaids or mermaids humans, whatever you want to call it. It's absolutely insane. Never had seen or heard of that angle before. So I had to share with you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to be coming back with more content. I have some TikTok reactions to do, and y'all, the Navigator series has been, in this last book, insane. It's going to take me a while to put that one together, but it's coming, and it is absolutely mind-blowing. So be prepared, stay in the love, stay in the light, be kind to others. Out.